Welcome to our Matchmaking Insights session. Today we're diving into the nitty gritty of troubleshooting those moments when the match process goes awry.
I'm excited. Yeah, absolutely excited to unpack how matchmakers handle like those inevitable bumps, right?
Definitely. It's like imagine you've set up a string of matches and then the client just rejects everything without really saying why.
Absolutely.
This module really digs into how to address that head on.
Right, and isn't it interesting how sometimes the rejection stems, well, not even from the match itself, but from hidden expectations the client might have?
Exactly. It's that dual role a matchmaker has to play, a bit like being both a detective and a coach. You're there to diagnose whether it's the criteria that's too narrow or if there's an underlying emotional barrier, like fear of intimacy.
Yep, I'm with you. So when a client says no repeatedly, what's the first step we should take?
The key is to schedule a heart to heart check in. Ask open ended questions such as, "What didn't work for you?" or "Has your vision changed?" That way, you transition from frustration to an opportunity to really understand the client's needs.
Right, I like that approach. But what if the client's feedback is super vague? They say, I just don't feel a spark without specifics.
That can be tricky. It's about exploring whether they're comparing every candidate to an unrealistic ideal, maybe even unconsciously using an ex or fantasy as the standard. You then gently probe deeper to, get at the heart of what they truly desire.
Absolutely. And what about unrealistic or unclear expectations? I mean, some clients come with these massive checklists that can practically rule out everyone.
True, it's like, asking for someone who ticks every box on a magic list, like 7 figures, 6 foot tall, Ivy League, and a model look. Then you need to reframe those expectations, validate what they desire, but also introduce a bit of reality.
Yeah, definitely.
It might go something like, "I understand these traits seem ideal, but let's separate your must haves from the nice to haves." This opens the door for compromise and helps broaden the pool of candidates.
Exactly. It's a delicate balance between supporting their dreams and being pragmatic. Now, what about moments when either the client or the potential match is hesitant to take that first step?
Yes, the hesitation factor. It often emerges from nerves or past disappointments. The advice here is to normalize those feelings. You remind them that lots of people experience pre-date jitters.
So, for instance, arranging a casual coffee meeting instead of a formal dinner to lower the pressure?
Exactly. Making it a low stakes introduction reduces the anxiety. It's like saying, "Hey, let's just see if there's a connection," without the burden of high expectations on the first date.
That low pressure strategy is so key. I wonder though, isn't there a risk of pushing someone too hard? Like sometimes clients might need a bit more space.
That's a very good point. It has to be handled delicately. You invite them to take that small step with a gentle deadline, sort of a "let's aim for a meetup this week" approach, without making them feel cornered.
Right, it's all about striking that motivational balance.
Moving forward, another major hurdle is handling conflicts or mismatched feedback after a date. Sometimes one person thinks the evening was fantastic, while the other deems it a disaster.
Yeah, those situations can get really awkward quickly. What's the best navigation strategy there?
The emphasis is on listening carefully to both sides, privately, and using neutral language when discussing the incident. You avoid the blame game and instead mediate constructively.
Absolutely, neutrality is crucial. And you mean like avoid statements that could make one party feel attacked, right?
Precisely. For example, if one person said, "I felt interrogated," you'd phrase it as, "It seems there was a miscommunication," rather than singling someone out.
That's very tactful.
Now, let's talk about the dreaded dry spells. Those long periods when quality matches just aren't coming through.
Dry spells can be super discouraging, both for the client and the matchmaker. What can be done in those moments?
Well, the first strategy is constant communication. Let the client know, "I'm still actively searching, even if progress seems slow." It's all about keeping lines open and setting realistic expectations.
Yep, managing the narrative helps a lot.
Also, that's a perfect opportunity to revisit and refine match criteria. Maybe the ideal is just too narrow. You can brainstorm together about expanding the pool a bit, say widening the age range, or being open to different backgrounds.
Right, and I think tapping into your network is equally important during a dry spell, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. Deliberately reaching out to colleagues or exploring unconventional channels like local mixers or forums can uncover potential matches that weren't in your immediate database.
Creative sourcing can be a game changer.
And it doesn't stop there. When things are piling up, managing your own time efficiently becomes critical. Setting micro goals and dedicated time blocks helps ensure you're not overwhelmed by, the slow progress of one client while neglecting others.
I see what you mean. It's like juggling multiple priorities without letting one case, no matter how worrisome, consume all your energy.
Right on. And speaking of energy, maintaining your own motivation is a big theme in this module. When setbacks hit, you need to reinvigorate your passion, maybe by reviewing past successes or even celebrating small wins, like securing even a modest date.
Celebrating those little victories really keeps morale high. And let's not forget about the exercises, checklists, and quizzes mentioned in the module. Those tools really help solidify the approach, don't they?
They do. For instance, having a quick troubleshooting checklist on hand can guide matchmakers through various scenarios, from dealing with persistent rejections to navigating miscommunications after a bad date. It's proactive, like a roadmap that reassures you step by step.
Yep, I think such tools are invaluable. I can imagine someone saying, "Hey, maybe I'm just unmatchable," as in that case study. How do you respond in such situations?
Great example. You acknowledge their feelings, offer an update on your active search, and propose a concrete plan. Maybe even suggest refreshing their presentation or reevaluating criteria. It's all about maintaining hope and ensuring
That
they feel
blend of empathy and
supported.
strategy is key. I do have a slight challenge with the idea of reevaluating criteria too aggressively, though. Isn't there a risk of making the client feel like their dreams are being minimized?
That's a valid critique. It's essential um, to approach it as refining rather than compromising. You validate the client's core desires while suggesting what's realistic, kind of like saying, these aspects are gold, but maybe we can also consider other valuable traits. That way, the client doesn't feel their ideal is being dismissed, but rather evolved.
Right, that nuance can make all the difference.
Exactly. So, in summary, whether it's tackling serial rejections, managing unrealistic expectations, overcoming hesitance, or navigating conflicts and dry spells, each challenge can be transformed into a learning opportunity with the right mindset and tools.
It's a dynamic process where every challenge feeds into better matchmaking practices. This has been an incredibly insightful discussion, really highlighting that even when plans hit snags, there's always a way to recalibrate and keep the journey positive.
Absolutely. Remember, every small win, every lesson learned is a stepping stone to that perfect match, both for the client and for the matchmaker's craft.
And that wraps up our session on troubleshooting and refining the match process. Thanks for the great insights.